to the Bullcast Podcast. I'm Katie Pickler, and, he's back ready to go. My co-host, Court Winsett.
Hello.
We're excited to have you guys back for episode 11. Oh, the places you'll go.
Does
anybody remember that lovely Dr. Seuss story when you were a kid?
And Katie, there's the opening bell. This week we're going to talk to you about vacation planning accounts.
Because everyone loves a good vacation.
Everybody does love it. Well, I don't know. I can't remember the last time I had a good vacation. Can't remember the last time I had a bad vacation. I have a list of places that I'd like to go.
Oh, like a bucket list?
Oh, absolutely. A bucket list is a good place to start for your vacation savings account. And so for this episode, Katie and I are going to do a top 5 list that is our top 5 bucket list vacations. So without further ado, Katie, why don't you hit me with your top 5 bucket list vacation places?
Okay, sorry. We're hitting you with the location. Sorry, not Pat Benatar.
Fire away.
Yes. Okay, so, it's hard to think about where all you want to go. And
it's easy to think about where all you want to go. It's hard to narrow it down to a list of 5.
Hard to narrow it down and then taking out, going back to some places or visiting, things like that. So first off, my number 1 would be Egypt.
Yes.
I think it'd be cool to see the pyramids and the tombs and ride a camel and do all that. But, there is possibility that it could be like the Mummy and something, I could touch something and it awakens
all of
something
a sudden,
crazy and then
evil beings chasing you and beetles and scarabs and all sorts of things crawling at you. It's terrible. No, tell me how it was when you get back. I respect
it might be on the news if that happens. Number 2 would be Moscow, Russia. I would love to just go to Russia. I think it's got a lot of great history. I was a dancer my whole life, and so I think it'd be cool to go and see the Russian ballet.
Oh, well, sure. Yeah. Okay. That's
and
cool.
then, I think they have vodka.
Well, yes, of course they do.
Vodka.
Yes, I think they drink vodka like water over there, from what I've been told.
Number 3 is kind of a little twofer, but it is stateside, so that's why I felt like I could kind of bend the rules a little bit and merge it together.
I don't know how you keep coming up with this idea that just because you're stateside, you can
bend the rules a little bit.
Okay.
So my number 3 would be a combo of doing Salem, Massachusetts, do the Salem witch trials, and then going to Savannah, Georgia, because it's also got a lot of haunted history and beautiful cemeteries, particularly in the fall. And, not that I already don't have this trip planned out in my head, but maybe we could record a future episode in a cemetery in Savannah, Georgia.
It sounds like you may have been thinking on this. I'm all for it. Can we expense that trip, please, now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Number 4 would be Switzerland, Swiss Alps.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I'm amazed that didn't make it to my top 5 now that I think about it.
I haven't even gone to like Aspen or anything like that stateside. So
where have you been? Where there were mountains and snow skiing?
Nowhere. So why don't go big or go home?
You haven't gone skiing?
No.
That's ridiculous.
Nope. I've done snow tubing. Where you're at the top of the thing and they just push you down.
That's nothing. That's not even a.
That was something.
Well,
they take your money and they push you down a hill.
Oh my Lord! No, wait, I wasn't ready.
Number 5. We lost Court. Number 5, Germany. I know I mentioned this before on another episode that I think it'd be cool to go to Oktoberfest in Germany, but
absolutely.
I have German roots on both sides,
yeah.
So Pickler is actually pronounced Pichler.
Oh.
Over there, and then on my mom's side, Kinder, which means little child. So I think it'd just be cool to go and see the history over in Germany, and of course, you got to stop and have a beer.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure stop and have water while you had a beer. I don't drink. I don't partake.
Oh, okay, cool, fine, cool story. Top 5 for you.
You didn't call me out on that at all. You're just like, oh, okay, yeah. Court doesn't drink, ladies and gentlemen. Wink, wink. They can't see you wink. Anyway, yes, my top 5. First of all, number 1 on my list is the Emerald Isle, and I'm talking about Ireland. I have always wanted to go see Ireland. I say the British Isles sometimes because I would really like to see Scotland and Ireland. But
it's beautiful.
Yeah, I imagine it is. I, ladies and gentlemen, have never been. 2 out of 3 people in this room have been, and I am not one of them. I am not at all bitter about that, but it is a place that I want to go. It is a place that I want to see. Definitely in my lifetime. So, and it's probably the number one place that I want to go and see, because let's start somewhere where I know that I can speak the language and they will understand what I'm saying.
And there's pubs on every corner.
Yes. Okay. So number 2, Italy. Now, I got obsessed with the Tuscan Valley when I watched the movie Under the Tuscan Sun. And so I've been like wanting to go to Tuscany for at least since that movie came out. But my wife is of Italian heritage, and I promised her, like when we were dating, which was eons ago, that one day I would take her to Italy and take her to Rome, so that she could see Rome and possibly even go like over Christmas or something and go to a midnight mass or something like that. Just like do that whole thing up. We were supposed to go this year, but we ended up not being able to. So yeah, that did make the list. I thought that I was going to be able to knock that one off the bucket list this year, but it didn't happen.
Just keep it on the list. It'll happen one day.
Hopefully. Number 3 would be New Zealand. Okay, so I don't really know a whole lot about New Zealand except for from the scenery in some of my favorite movies, the Lord of the Rings movies, the scenery, my precious, looks beautiful. I really, really want to go just based on the rolling hills. But also, I have a friend that went, and apparently the set from Lord of the Rings for Hobbiton is still there. And so you can go and visit the set, and I have to go see where the hobbits
Okay, if you go, then I got to give you a whole little hobbit outfit to wear with, like little furry feet and everything.
I would at least, at an absolute minimum, Katie, I would tell you that I wore it.
No, picture didn't happen.
And I would appreciate the generosity.
Gotta put it on the Insta.
Number 4, Thailand. Now, this really doesn't... most of my places have something to do with a movie. Thailand doesn't really have anything to do with the movie. It has more to do with the food. I really, really love Thai food, and I figure if you're going to go somewhere where they have good Thai food, you might want to start in Thailand. But also, I've seen a couple of movies with some scenery that made it look pretty serious. There's obviously Hangover 2. Mm-hmm. Now, I wasn't so interested in the Bangkok part of Hangover 2. One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster is not my oyster. But the part where they have the setting for the wedding, assuming that that they actually filmed that in Thailand, then that just made me go like, oh yeah, I've got to see that place. That part of Thailand is what I want to see. Sort of the beach and the rocks and all of that just looked amazing. And similarly, there was another movie called Changeland, and that was much more recently. And I watched that, and again, the scenery, it just, the whole movie was about this guy who goes to Thailand and has a cathartic experience. And
check it out.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So gotta go there, gotta see there. I want to go to there. And then finally, obviously, Churchill.
Like Winston?
No.
I love Winston Churchill. He has some great little nugget quotes out there.
Okay. I love some of Winston Churchill's quotes, but no, I was talking about Manitoba, Canada. Churchill is in the province of Manitoba in Canada, and it is, and wait for it. It's the polar bear capital of the world.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yes.
You and your polar bears.
Gonna go see some polar bears in Churchill. It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait. If I could ride on a polar bear, then I would do that. I've heard that they are not actually nice animals and that they would eat you though. So
maybe Cameron can make a little graphic of me on a camel and you on a polar bear.
That would be fantastic.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe I can wear your hobbit feet that you're going to make me. I can be a hobbitses on a polar bear.
Oh, gosh.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I have wrapped this one up in classic fashion. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our top 5. Now we are on to our topic. Katie, what is our meat and potatoes today?
So we're talking about, other places you'll go. We're talking about a vacation fund. And we're going to really break that down and explain. But the first step, you just heard our bucket list. You heard where we want to go. I hope while you were listening to us, you're kind of thinking, yeah, that'd be a great place to go. Or these people are crazy. I don't know. I don't want to go there. But to start with this whole thing we're going to talk about in this episode, think about where you want to go. think about your bucket list items, whether it's, in the States or it's, international, whatever it may be. But really just think hard about those places and dream big. Even if you feel like right now it's not possible, think about it. Let's put it on a list, and whether it's in your phone, pen and paper, whatever it may be.
So it'll give you some motivation for that vacation fund.
Oh, yeah.
We're pushing the fund hard, but you got to have some motivation to actually follow through, or you just won't.
Exactly.
Fantastic. So, why would you want to save? I guess I should say, why wouldn't you want to save up for a vacation? What would stop people from going on all of the vacations?
Well, let's think about a vacation to begin with. Most people go, oh, I can't go on a vacation because I don't have money, or I can't get time off work. Well, we can't really help you figure out about the time off work thing. I mean, that's something you got to figure out with your boss. But the money, that is the stressor that most people either talk themselves out of vacation before it happens because they don't think they can spend the money, or they go on a vacation, they hopefully have fun, and then they freak out when they come home and they've spent too much money. So then it snowballs and they don't want to go on their vacation because they have PTSD thinking about how much money was spent on your last vacation.
I can't tell you how many times I have thought to myself, yes, that would be great. We totally need to do that. And it could just be something as simple as like a 3-hour drive and stay at a lake somewhere. And I'm like, yes, we got to do that. And then I start automatically thinking about how much it's going to cost me. And I'm like, oh, I'll just continue to stay at home and work.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that it's expensive, and you think ahead of time, like, oh, you gotta plan for it and figure out all the different elements of just a basic vacation of buying the tickets or hotels or flights.
Well, not even to
whatever.
Mention the fact that, I mean, you start thinking about vacations and you think about the fact that everything could go wrong. Oh, all of the things could go wrong.
Have you seen all of the vacation movies? We're talking about the National Lampoon's Vacation, the whole Wally World trek. I think there was a European, a Vegas.
Yeah, so if you're putting a lot of money into this, you may want to seriously consider actually getting some travel insurance. But maybe that will alleviate your stress as far as that's concerned, and then you can worry more about how you're going to fund it. And that's sort of the idea behind this whole topic is putting away money for the vacation fund.
Yeah. So, hopefully you've thought about some stuff of where you want to go. And so you've got to really think, these are the places I want to go, or I want to set a goal of trying to go to, even if it's go to Florida once a year, but set in your mind an idea. Or like you said, you want to make sure you take your wife to Italy. Mm-hmm. So that's still on your list. It's a goal. Mm-hmm. But then be smart about it and be honest about it and think, okay, how much is it going to take for us to go?
Yeah.
Are we going to try well, you can't drive to Italy, so you got to figure that one out.
Drive or fly. Oh, I'm going to swim.
But you've got to think about that. Are you flying or driving? And then you've got to go, oh, okay, now it's a long one. You might want to consider those upgrades. Because I don't think you want to be stuck in the back of the bus and the plane. And yeah.
You don't want to be stuck in the back of the bus plane?
Well, you know what I mean.
I do. I give you a hard time.
But yeah, and do some research on kind of what hotels or Airbnbs I know are a big thing right now.
Where are you going to go?
Yep.
How are you going to get there?
Where are you going to stay?
Where are you going to stay?
What are you going to do?
And what are you going to do? Well, that sort of breaks it down, doesn't it?
Yep.
But I mean, a whole lot of stuff can go into that.
Oh, yeah. And we're not trying to nitty gritty and get into exactly planning your specific vacation.
Right.
But we want you to just think about it. And it's not to the point that you have to know exactly, but just sum up and, okay, so if you want to go to New Zealand and hang out with the hobbits with your little hobbit feet thing.
Yes.
Well, you got to pay me to make your hobbit feet now.
Oh, I thought you were going to do it for free.
No.
You're the costume person.
So, you got to think about how much is this going to cost you to fly and,
Well, okay, so I have a 5-person immediate family, wife and 3 children. So all 5 of us go, right? So
that's a lot of hobbit feet for me to make.
Well, you only have to make the hobbit feet for me. I'm going to be the only one that gets on the polar bear anyway. So, you don't have to worry about the rest of them.
Wait, the polar bear's in New Zealand now?
Wouldn't that be magical if it were? I mean,
left the polar bear in Winston, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Churchill. It'll always be Winston to me.
Okay, so 5 people flying over to New Zealand. Say, I checked it out. Right now, it's kind of hard to get an exact price, but somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 per person for a round trip flight to New Zealand. So 5 people right there, you're looking at $10,000 just to get there. And if you spent that much money and that much time on a plane just to get there, then you're probably going to want to spend more than a few days there. So
yeah, that's a big investment.
You are not wrong. And so if you're going to spend a longer time there, then you're going to spend more money on a hotel room or a bungalow or wherever you're staying, because you have to have a place to live. And that doesn't even touch on, what the attractions are and how much they're going to cost. And, are you going to theme parks, or is it going to cost money to get into Hobbiton and stuff like that? So you have to plan for all of that and take that into consideration, and then set an amount that you want to try and save.
That sounds like you're talking about our vacation fund.
Yeah. Well, I mean, generally speaking, you can approach a vacation fund one of two ways. You either have a set amount that you want to save to, like I need to save, it looks like about $15,000, or you have a set amount that you can save monthly to ultimately reach whatever goal it is you have. But it helps to start with that goal and then move into the actual saving.
Yeah. So let's really talk about that. So when we did our budget episode, we mentioned the vacation fund. And I think you had said something about you wanted to set aside like $3,000 a year for a vacation fund. And so that's what you're saying, is that you pick, if you've got a specific trip in mind, how much you want to save, or if you want to just take a hard look at your budget, how much money you have. And if you're blessed enough to have a little bit extra money afterwards, then, after you pay your bills, after you hopefully are putting away for retirement, if you want to then set up a discipline of making this a monthly bill that you set aside, whatever amount it may be, towards this vacation fund.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever amount you can, unless you can afford to set aside way more than you need to. So you start with where. And then you go, okay, I can set aside $15,000 right now. Off to New Zealand we go. No fund. But if it's going to take you a little while to save up, then you say, okay, when do I want to go? And you determine how much you need to put away every month between now and the time you want to leave to actually get that amount of money. Or you can say, this is the absolute maximum that I can afford to put toward this, and I'm going to put that amount toward this every month. You can set the monthly amount either way.
Yeah. Well, and some of the stuff I'm about to talk about is where it's good that Court and I are so different, because we would handle these in different ways. I'm someone that I feel like vacations are important to me. I'd like to build it into a monthly budget item. I know how I am. I don't have that discipline that if I've got a little extra money sitting in my bank account that's not allocated for something else, I'm not going to go, oh, I should probably move that to my vacation fund. I need to set up an automatic, withdrawal or something like that.
Automatic transfer of some
automatic
sort, yeah.
transfer, that it takes my money out of my bank account and puts it into an account that I can't easily get to.
So you're locking it away from yourself?
Well,
completely?
No. So what I mean is I would set up an account, and it may be something something that we could do at Pickler Wealth Advisors. Set up an account where I say I'm going to try and put $100 a month into this vacation fund. And I can call it with, us at Pickler Wealth Advisors, I can call it vacation fund or, Russian trip or
Polar
something
Bear
like
Express.
that. Well, I'm not going on the Polar Bear Express. That may be yours.
Okay.
But I could set it up where it's just automatically, like you have your auto bills, just automatically $100 goes into this account, and it's there. I can't get my hands on it easily. If I need it.
How hard is it to get your hands on it?
Well, all I'd have to do is call up and say, hey, I need to get a hold of that money. But it's one of those, it's kind of that mental block of, if it was at my fingertips and say it was in a separate checking account or a separate savings account, and we know how easy those apps are now.
Yeah.
You can sit there and just go, ooh, I want to move money over here. I want to move over here. It would be
so it's the difference of having to pull up your phone and open an app and get the money and transfer it to a different account so you can spend it on your debit card or something,
or actually
having
pick
to
up the
call
phone
somebody.
and call, which
Right.
I know is kids. That's where you pick up and actually talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I can't just text somebody about it, because then they'd have to call me and verify. Katie, did you really want to pull out $1,000 on your vacation fund?
Right.
And then I had to be like, yeah. And they're like, oh, where are you going?
I mean, I guess nowhere. You could, if you're one of those people, you could conceivably just set aside in your mind's eye, in your checking account. Oh, I have $5,000 in my checking account, but $2,500 of that is in my vacation fund. And then once a month you can add another 100. And so it's 26, or you could do a savings account separately where you're just transferring the money over via app or whatever else. Or you have it with a financial advisor and you're actually moving money into a separate account at a financial advisor, something like a money market or something like that,
Yeah, which money market we talked about a couple episodes ago.
Yes, you will.
Talked about it on the cash episode.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, so there's many different options of how you can set up your vacation fund. And that's where I hope you get through all these episodes we've had so far, that the reason why like a financial advisor or someone like us is around is that we want to help you figure out what works best for you. I mean, you think about when you go to a doctor's office and they're going to figure out exactly what is the right path for you. So when you're looking at any aspect of your finances, it's figure out what works for you. So does it work to set this vacation fund up as something at an advisor, something at your checking account, all still together? But I know that if I can get that money very easily, I'm going to spend it. But the reason to have this vacation fund is because when you go on a vacation, what do?
What do I do? I stress the whole time about how much money it's costing me.
So this is how it's all supposed to beautifully work out. So say that we have put all this money into this vacation fund. You've got this money in there, whether you've set it up every month or you're just as commission checks come in, whatever it may be, you've got this money sitting there. Leave it sitting there. Do you know what credit cards are?
I have heard of credit cards. I think I know what they are. Yes.
So credit cards get a bad rap. And we're going to do a whole thing about credit cards and credit card debt.
A whole thing, like a whole episode?
Like a whole episode.
Podcast
yeah,
episode.
A whole thing about credit card debt. But for this, I want you to know credit cards are not evil. Credit cards can be for good. Mm-hmm. Especially with vacation, you can get credit cards that have points that go with hotels, that go with specific locations. Like Disney even has a credit card. Mm-hmm. So if you're an annual Disney person, then get that credit card. But what we're saying with these credit cards is utilize them on the vacation. Rack up those points. And then when you come home, what do? You pay it off with that vacation fund money.
Okay, so you're still going to have to be somewhat cautious. I mean, you can't just go over there and go crazy with the credit card, especially at a place like somewhere like Disney where they offer you this.
Oh, the danger bracelets.
Yes. The
magic man.
Yeah, the credit bracelet that you just put on and you just walk up to a machine and go boop. And
like, ooh, Mickey popcorn.
Yeah,
yes.
So you don't know how much. You still have to be careful about how much you spend.
Yeah, we're not saying that, this vacation fund set aside is for a guilt-free vacation of you blowing all your money. It's just one of those that hopefully you can sit back and feel comfortable knowing that a majority of it that you plan for is paid for.
Certain things you can prepay.
Yeah.
You can probably go ahead and take some of the money from that account to pay for your plane tickets.
Yeah, the pre-stuff that you have to pay for. You can already have that taken care of. So then you're just actually spending the money. But, Clark Griswold, think about all his crazy stuff he had happen.
They lost traveler's checks in vacation, European vacation. Yeah.
And it's just everything. If, you forget something, it's 10 times more expensive on a vacation. Yeah. And so that's where you kind of build in that buffer.
So you go, you prepay for what you have to prepay for. You take your credit card with you. You know that you still have money in that account back at home. Mm-hmm. So you can use your credit card. Ease of payment. Credit card is obviously it's very easy to use to pay.
And it tracks what you spend.
The danger bracelet, the Disney World bracelets, the danger bracelets, those are even easier, arguably, than a credit card.
Oh, yeah.
But, you're able to use those. So long as you keep up with what you're spending and don't spend too much, then you can use that as an easy way to pay for things while you're gone. And then at some point you go home.
Unfortunately, you have to go home.
You do have to go home. And then when you get home, you can pay that. You can pay that off.
You pay that off because you want to get rid of that credit card debt on there, get it taken care of.
Yes.
So now your vacation fund may be completely drained, but that's okay because that's what this account is supposed to be. It is that you fill it up with money and then you go on a trip and it spends it down because you paid off your credit card. And you know what? As soon as you get back, you start that discipline again. So
you don't feel guilty because you just drained your savings account. You don't feel guilty that you drained that tier that's supposed to be protection in case you get laid off. That's not what this vacation fund is. This is different than your general savings account. This isn't your nest egg. This is the vacation fund. And so if you get home and you have spent every dime in your vacation fund, then hopefully you had a great vacation and then you pay it all off. Whatever you put on your credit card, you pay off. And then you start building it up again.
You start building again. And it's just a great thing to set up. And you mentioned this isn't your nest egg, but obviously this is your money that if life happens and something does come about, then you could pull from this vacation fund.
It's not off limits.
Yeah, it's not off limits, but it's also great because how many times have you had your best friend call and they're getting married and they're doing a destination and you're just like, oh.
Vacation fund.
Yeah.
Boom.
You've budgeted for it right there. So it's a way of looking at you every month are putting away for something fun, for a vacation. You're not just paying your mortgage bill. You're not just, paying for all these different things. You are going, yes, a little bit more. That's getting me one step closer to this trip.
I like that you mentioned something about destination weddings because it's like, okay, so maybe we set up the fund initially because we wanted to go to New Zealand, but then something else comes up before that. And it's like some friends want to go to the Bahamas because they want to get married on the beach by a Bahamian. Then, you're like, oh, I can't go to that. That's expensive. Or if you have a vacation fund, you could say, well, I was saving this money to go to New Zealand, but you're my best friend and I love you. So I want to go to the beach and watch you get married.
And hey, I've had this, money
and
set aside.
And I've got this money. And so it's a stress-free vacation with friends. You get to watch them get married again. Yeah. Boom.
Well, and it's kind of the whole discipline going back to, you think about, I think a lot of people have probably had this when they're starting a new job and they set up with a retirement plan. It's like, go ahead right now and put aside this much that goes into your retirement account. And so you won't even realize that money's gone because you never really saw that first paycheck without it coming out. So with this, it's one of those, just set it up. And then before you know it, you won't even really per se miss that money. You just know that it's moving somewhere else and it's there for you.
Yeah.
And it will hopefully take away the stress and the guilt that comes with a vacation because vacations are so important.
Vacations are hugely important. Yes. So many things about a vacation are so important. You can't, for you personally, for your family, for your marriage, for whatever it is, to be able to get away from work, to be able to get away from the regular everyday life and to go somewhere and see something and relax and remove yourself. That's important on so many levels.
And it doesn't all, I know we've talked about a lot of big trips, New Zealand, Thailand, stuff like that, but it doesn't even have to be that. It can be just a simple, that's the money you go visit your friends who live, a state over. A vacation is whatever you want it to be, but this is just money set aside that is, guilt-free. That's your money you can go to take a breather for yourself.
So you have your bucket list and you start with that as kind of a goal. But even if you know that your bucket list items are unattainable for the next 10 years, go ahead and decide what you can put away so that you're putting something away so that you've got that fund and you can take some sort of trip. It's going to help. Again, I already mentioned your life, your wife, your family, your kids, whatever. Your job performance is going to improve if you are taking regular vacations as well. So in every way imaginable, really, taking some time off for yourself is going to improve your life. And the easiest way to do that is to have some fun set aside. So however much you can, you do.
You even think about, I don't know why I'm binge watching all these 90s, 80s shows, but every sitcom out there had a vacation series episode where it's like they got tired of filming in the house or in the small town or whatever it was, and so they all decided to go to Hawaii or somewhere like that. So I mean, if the sitcoms are even taking a vacation, you deserve a vacation, everybody.
Absolutely.
You deserve that time to go out, care for yourself, have fun, and this vacation fund is a way for you to do it and pull a little bit of that stress off of you.
So, Katie, how about you sum it up for me? Let's go straight into our bullseye. Okay, so bullseye, Katie. What is your bullseye?
Okay, so even if you're sitting here listening, I don't have the time off work. Why do I need to be doing this? I'm telling you, you need to do this. Figure out what works for you. Figure out what amount. Figure out where you think it's best to hold this money. But even if it's $5 and you feel like you are not going to take a vacation for 2 or 3 years, just think about that. $5 saved up every month. It will make a difference. Vacations are so important. It's a huge value of trying to take care of yourself. So do it. Do it now.
Do it. Do it.
That's my bullseye. What about you?
Okay, my bullseye is 4 words. Dream, save, spend, dream again. Come up with something you want to do. Save up for it. Do it. And then come up with your next dream. Even if that doesn't work for you, even if your dreams can't be met in a year's time, go ahead and start saving now. But dream, save, do it, and dream again. Bullseye. Oh, there's our closing bell. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking with us. If you'd like to find out more about me and Katie and this podcast, you can go to our podcast website, which is bullcastpodcast.com. You can ask us questions, leave a comment, leave a review, or if you want to, you can give us suggestions for topics for later episodes. bullcastpodcast.com. Also, if you want to interact with us immediately, then you can reach out to us on Twitter, which is at Bullcast Podcast, or Instagram at Bullcast Podcast. And finally, if you'd like to find out more about me and Katie and our amazing team and the team that we work with and the guy that we work for at Pickler Wealth Advisors, you can go to our Pickler Wealth Advisors website, which, if I haven't said it enough, is picklerwealthadvisors.com. That's advisors with an O. That should give you enough to do until next time. So for now, I'm Court.
I'm Katie.
And we're getting out of here and going to New Zealand.
Woo!